Hi! Today I'm going to show you how to do this complete look, hair and makeup. You're going to start by wetting your hair, but only the part that's going to go up in a ponytail, or just dampen it a little bit. Then I'm going to part the center section, where the braid is going to go, into sort of a rectangle section. And just make it as even as possible. And this is where we're going to braid to the back to the ponytail. Then you're just going to section it off. And then I'm going to get some hair gel and just thoroughly saturate the entire area that you're going to put up into a ponytail. And get a nice smoothing brush and get that just as smooth as possible. And you want to get it to the base of that rectangle is where the ponytail you want to go. You want to go as high as that rectangle and just tie it up with a single ponytail holder. And then now we're going to proceed to just wet it down and hairspray the area that we're about to braid. And just sort of French braid it back. We're going to start with 3 little separate sections and just go over into the center. Just over, grab, over, grab another piece over to the center section, grab another piece over to the center section, and you're going to keep doing this all the way back until you run out of hair. And this doesn't have to be tight because we're going to push it up just a little bit to give you a nice little poof in the front. Then you're going to get another hair tie and you're just going to tie the excess hair into the ponytail that's already there. And this is going to make it just a bit tighter as well and more secure. And you see how I just kind of yank out the braid a little bit just to poofing it up a little bit. And then I'm going to add more hairspray to keep the flyaways up. Then you're going to twist the hair around and make it into a nice, neat bun. And get several bobby pins to just kind of pin it right into place. As many bobby pins as you need. And that's your hairstyle. Just hairspraying any final little bits. There you go. Now to your makeup tutorial. We're going to take some painter's tape. And you're going to rip off just as much as you need. And then you're going to split that in half if you have a thicker painter's tape. And you're going to take the smooth edge of the painter's tape, you see this nice sharp straight edge, and start lining it up to your eye. And this is for your wing liner, just to make sure that everything is nice and even. So you're going to line it up to the bottom of your lash line and angle it up, if that makes sense. And then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. And just try to get it as even as possible and then just press it down. This is going to be very useful when you're trying to even out the eyes. Then I'm going to take just some powder just to kind of smooth out any foundation that I may have there. We're going to take that tiny little brush I put on the list and some black eyeshadow, and you're going to start tracing out the half circle moon shape on your eye that you see in the main picture for this look. I like to use powder, or eyeshadow rather, because it's a lot easier to sort of start tracing things out and making it as even as possible before adding a pencil to darken it up and kind of make it more permanent. So you're just going to keep doing this, adding more powder until you feel like it's even enough. This is why I like to use this very tiny brush to do this. And then you're going to extend it out a little bit more into your eye using that same brush and just slowly adding a little bit more eyeshadow each time. And as you add more eyeshadow, you're going to see how you kind of feel yourself out. And just keep making it nice and even. And you don't want to go past your pupils with this look. Kind of stop the line mid-eye. And if you notice here that I'm kind of extending the shadow from the inner corners of my eye to the outside, then I'm going to take a pencil or a liquid liner, whatever you're comfortable with, and start darkening the top lash line and just anything else that you've already drawn. Once you're okay with the shape and you feel like it's even, go in with a pencil or a liquid liner, whatever's easier for you. I'm going to be using both in this video, just to demonstrate what you can do with it. And I'm just going to keep continuing darkening it a little bit more. And you want to see the inner corner of your eye, you want to make sure that it's kind of nice and blended going into your eye. And if you can see right now how helpful the tape is in kind of making that winged liner nice and sharp. And here I'm using a pencil for this. But I'm going to go back in later and use the Kat Von D liquid liner, because I just feel like this goes on just a little blacker and a little bit more precise than a pencil would, because it doesn't tug on my skin. And here you can see why we use the tape, because it keeps everything nice and even. Now I'm going to go in with the black pencil again and just go halfway into my eye with a black liner into my waterline, and now we're going to start tracing out the bottom line. And I'm going to go back in with my nice little brush and black eyeshadow and start evening out the lines that go into the inner eye. Now, since the under of my eye is a little bit wrinkly, I like to go in with a Kat Von D liquid liner because I feel like it's easier to make a nice sharp point that this look requires with it than it is with the pencil, since it tugs at my skin. So I'm going to go in again with the pencil and tight line underneath my lash line to just make sure everything is very dark. Then I'm going to take the Milk pencil, the NYX Milk Jumbo pencil, and just line that little area that does not have black on my waterline and line that with white and extend it into that little empty area that we left open. Then we're going to go in with another tiny brush and the silver pigment and just start filling it in. And the way I like to do it is you always want to add little by little and just press the pigment in and start spreading that color out and up. And always do little by little. You never want to do too much pigment, because then you get a lot of fall down and it's just messier, like what I just did here. Now, because the silver pigment is so pigmented, I'm going to go back in with the liquid liner in case I got some of that silver pigment into the black. Then I'm going to take a tinier brush and put silver pigment into that white area where the Jumbo Milk pencil was. And I'm doing the same thing with the the black eyeliner now, to kind of redraw anything that the silver pigment may have crossed over into the black. Now this is the fun part. We're going to strip everything away now that we finished with the base pigments of the eye. Then I'm going to take the NYX glitter glue and use my finger and just tap it in where we want the silver glitter to go. Just tap, tap, tap. You don't want to spread, because then that silver pigment will start spreading as well. So just tap the glue into the eye all over. Then I'm going to take my silver glitter and use the same finger that I applied the glitter glue and just tap my finger in, and same thing, just start tapping the glitter into the areas where I put the glue. You're going to get a little fall down in this, but that's okay. And just spread it all the way up and out. Then at this point, I'm going to curl my lashes. And I'm also going to I added some lashes here off camera, and I'm just kind of redrawing any of the black line that may have gotten blended in with everything else. Then I'm going to take my concealer, and any sort of fall down or anything that I feel is a little messy underneath the eye, this is when I start cleaning it up, and I use the concealer for this. And I'm using a nice little flat sharp brush for that, just to make sure the line is nice and perfect. And then you're going to blend it out with your beauty blender and then start tapping your powder in, because any liquid products you put on your face, you always want to set it with powder to kind of make it nice and long lasting, especially through the sweat. Then we're going to go back in with our painter's tape, and we're going to start making the green lines on our face. Now you want to even it out. What point of reference I use is kind of the edge of my nose and parallel to the line that you made with your eyes as well. You see how it's nice and even, and make it even on the other side as well. And remember, you use a flat straight part of the painter's tape to make this nice and perfect. Then you're gonna go into your NYX green eyeshadow and just start tapping the color in. Same thing with the silver pigment. You want to make sure you do little by little until you feel like the pigment is nice and strong on your face so you can see it. And just keep tapping it in. Now don't bring the color all the way down to your nose. You want to kind of stop halfway and even it out on both sides. Just make it even as possible. Once you feel the pigment is sufficient, we're going to peel the tape off, which is always the most fun for me. Peel it off here. Now with that same tape, you're just going to go parallel to the top line, maybe about like a ½ an inch down from the top line, and you're going to do the same exact thing. And just tap, 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 and add little by little. You don't want to do too much pigment at once because I find it's harder to blend with that. Boom, boom. Then you're going to go back in with your NYX glitter glue again. I just kind of tap it in. And this is where we're going to put the chunky glitter. If you see, we're kind of putting it just on the top part of the lines where the color is. You don't want to put it where the no color is on your face. Extending it a little bit above the brow. We want to keep that nice and even. Then same thing with the chunky glitter. Just start pressing in until you feel it's sufficient. And that's going to look so nice when the light hits it on the stadium field with the stadium lights. Once you feel that's good, now we're going to move on to the lips and just thoroughly saturate your lips with the dark pigment, and that is your look.